It is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra, and we are back. The North Carolina Tar Heels defeated the Duke Blue Devils 81-77. And as you can see, Miss T is representing to the T with the North Carolina Tar Heels hat on. She is holding it down with the blue on today. And Tenitra, one thing that I can say about Hubert Davis as the head coach of North Carolina Tar Heels. I think that when you think about the players that he has and the way, and specifically a guy like Caleb Love and the way he played, we all know that guard play is one of those things that is very important when it comes to tournament time. And for them to go out and get a win like they did on Saturday, I just think it just really speaks to how this season has gone for the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yeah, and I think that what's really going to be critical, in addition to that backcourt play, what will really set the tone was that inside play of Baycott really just saying, just denying everything, just double-digit rebounds, 20 plus rebounds. It was just crazy, what he was able to do. And in looking at how Kansas was able to dominate Villanova and really, really start to impose their will as the season or as the tournament has worn on, I do believe that that's going to actually, even though their big play has been excellent as well as their backcourt play, I think that where North Carolina may have the edge, even though they're considered underdogs, is going to be that inside play. I believe if they set the tone and they let their bigs establish the flow and dictate the tempo of that game, I really think that's some place where they can win. Also, they're ready to bang inside. And then if you try to make them pay, they're going to make you pay because they're one of the teams that has the best free throw percentage in the nation. And that's one of the things that as that game wore on, even though it was 78 seconds, I think, to play, and they were still tied or up by one. And then you start getting into free throws. And then you start making yours, and they start missing both of theirs on the Duke side. And all of a sudden, what seems to be a very slim margin and about to take you into regulation, all of a sudden becomes this wide chasm. So I believe if North Carolina could do what they've been able to do, keeping it close and making sure that the bigs dictated in the end get you some second chance points, I believe they have every opportunity to give Hubert Davis his first championship as a head coach in his very first year. Crazy to think we're talking about that, considering, Lord, how this team looked at the beginning of the season. I had to look away. It was just too much. But they got themselves together, righted the ship, and hopefully can reset themselves, like Hubert Davis said. Yes, excited to be able to advance in the Final Four over your chief nemesis, but that's not what they came to do. They came to win a title. And hopefully, I believe he's got those guys reset to do just that.
And you know what? I absolutely love it. But I know we got a little special treat, at towards the end of the segment that we have to talk about. You were actually in North Carolina and you were up 85. But we're gonna finish this out. But right before we close out, we're gonna get into that just a little bit. But I think that to just add to what you're saying, I think that there is something special about what we've seen. I think, this is for the culture. This is how we get down. This is the type of things that we point out. We're going to point out, consistently. And I think that the one thing that just kind of really hit me, and is why I brought it to you, is because when I think about former players, just overall, all what would it be NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, all that stuff. When you think about the opportunities that African Americans get to be able to get those opportunities, there was a lot of scrutiny that came with Hubert Davis being hired as a head coach at UNC. That I'm sure that you're very familiar with, following as you follow this team, and for him to do this in this light, in this manner, and to take out Coach K to give him his final loss as a final game as a head coach, his final loss at Cameron Indoor,
yes.
As well, to be a part of that type of history. I think that it just speaks to what former players can do. And I know a lot of people, you're going to make the assumption, well, all right, well, former players should be able to coach. No, that's not necessarily the
No.
case. A
Yeah.
lot of times, the stereotype is that, hey, if you are a pretty good player, more than likely you're not going to be a good coach, or
Hmm.
you're just not going to get looked at anyway for
Yeah.
whatever reason,
Right.
or you're not affiliated with the right coach. But I
Hmm.
think that for Hubert Davis to get himself to this space, I think he's going to open up a lot of doors for former players to be able to get those head coaching opportunities.
Yeah. And I think that he opens up the floodgates for former players, especially those who sometimes it is better when you're a solid player, maybe not a great player, because
Right.
maybe you see the floor or the field a little bit differently because it didn't come easy for you.
For the
So
talent
sometimes
standpoint,
maybe,
yeah.
yeah, sometimes
Mhm.
maybe being that role player or someone who really had to fight for that starting position, you can understand the nuances of each person's game, whether they're at the highest level or whether and at the front of the bench, or whether they are the 12th person on that bench. And I think Dawn Staley she is one of the few
Oh my
greats who
goodness.
was great at playing and who is
Right.
great at coaching.
Head coach,
So
yeah.
Dawn Staley is the
That's
truth.
an
I
anomaly for
met
sure.
her. Yeah, I met her last summer, and I had a chance to speak with her just briefly and just congratulated her, of course, and told her, "Hey, I know
Good
Lady
flexing going
Gamecocks."
on right now. I love
I,
it.
I told her, "Hey, look, I know the Lady Gamecocks are going to come back stronger than ever. I don't doubt that. But more importantly, thank you for what you've done for the culture. Thank you for what you've done for little girls and Black women and just women of color, because all of the things that she's done, both that people know about and don't know about, like taking the strings from her championship and mailing out a piece of each string, just as that was done for her, I believe, by C. Vivian Stringer.
Yeah.
So being able to carry that legacy out and show the importance. And one of those first strings went, by the way, to the Howard University coach. So it wasn't about just
Ooh,
going out
yeah.
there and finding the top line or top name African American women, female coaches. It was about looking and saying who speaks to you. And that was somebody who had been following Dawn since she was like 8 or 9. So
Right.
amazing to see that, but also to teach your team about resilience. Because last year, just like almost every year, these last 4 or 5 years, they were the favorites, and it came down to a shot that was missed. And
Yeah.
you know, that team had to watch as their top player had memes of her crying and just vilifying her for months and months and months on social media. But she got those girls together. She got her whole squad ready, and they have been on mission, and they understood the assignment, they completed the assignment, and now once again they are champions. So shout out to Dawn Staley for the amazing job that she's been able to do at South Carolina, and just continued success to them, and understanding the importance of, you don't always win it when you're supposed to, like North Carolina a couple years ago against Villanova, but you come back and you get resilient and you win and you move on because you still got a chip.
Yeah, kudos to Don Staley, and can we talk about the swag too? Like that,
My
just
girl.
man, man, like the piece that she had on. That's what I'm gonna call it. My goodness, I just man, just everything about her is what I
Yeah.
liked, and
Yeah.
I think that to be able to be that way
Hmm.
and be able to have the not only have the the ability to coach, and then just be able to carry yourself in a certain way that just makes it just feels like she's just a confident woman, and
Yes.
confident in who she is, and what her capabilities are, just like she was as a player,
Oh yeah.
and to be able to do both, like you said, that is absolutely amazing. And I think that is something that, like you said, is going to speak to little Black girls all over, and the reason why it hits home with me, because I have two of them. You know what I mean? So and I'm happy for what they're able to see, or what they're going to
Mhm.
be able to see growing up, as potential athletes. One of y'all
Yes.
play sport, please. Like just one of y'all. So that's kind of where. But before we get out of here, though, T, I have to hear about this Charlotte trip, right?
Yeah.
No, now there are a lot of new edition fans, I'm sure, that's going to watch this video, and I think they would love to hear just a little bit about what went down at that concert.
Yeah, it was
Lose his mind.
right. It was amazing because literally, Jarvis, for me, it was a last minute decision. I tossed and turned on it. I was like, man, do I feel like driving 4 hours? What's it going to be like? Do I want to get this ticket in advance? I mean, it was a back and forth to the point where I was like, you know what? When I get up, I'll make up my mind. And that's literally what I did. I was like, okay, I guess I'll go. So I missed it when the concert tour came through Atlanta because, of course, in Cleveland for All-Star Weekend to get some time with Trae Young and get some time with Anthony Edwards. And so it was well worth it. But still in the back of my mind, I was like, dang, I want to see any because it was all six. And we don't get to see all six, meaning
we know what.
Right. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny. Like it doesn't happen. So got to see all six. And also Jodeci is originally from Charlotte, born and raised in that area. So I knew they were going to show out. And I've never seen Jodeci in concert, never even thought we'd get the chance to see the whole all four, like Devontae and Mr. Dalvin. Oh, okay. So I was like, that's cool. So yeah, I drove up and met some people. You know me, I'll make friends anywhere. So yeah, so I met friends until I was darn near on the floor for the concert and paid virtually nothing. But hey, that's what it's about when you got favor and you're nice to people. Okay, and you smile. So it was really cool because I met some really nice people, some who had traveled up like me from Atlanta to see the concert, and it did not disappoint. This Carolina Blue was all up and through 22,000, sold out, not an empty seat in the house, and Jodeci delivered. Huge. It was just amazing. I've seen Charlie Wilson so many times, so I'm just going to check the box on him and say he was Charlie. He was Uncle Charlie. I mean, that's who he is. New Edition. Okay. If you know how important they are to this culture. And I can't say it any better. The New Kids on the Block said it when they opened, I believe, the American Music Awards with a collaboration. There would be no New Kids on the Block if it was not for New Edition. There would be no 112 if it was not for New Edition. No Jodeci even came after them. Boys to Men, Jagged Edge, all of it comes from they are the core, they are the beginning, and it's so exciting.
Don't forget about them.
Exactly. No, right. Velvet DeVoe, completely changed. Right. And then you look at them and they're like all six, but then they've got pieces that are amazing. Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill doing solo projects, BBD completely changing the game of hip hop and R&B in the 90s. Things that just have never been done before and haven't been done since. Not the way they do it. So to see all those guys come back together and to get their flowers like they are, Walk of Fame, sold out concert in every city, Vegas residency at the end of the year, closing out Essence. I mean, look, I just want to say that I'm excited because we're losing people. We've lost so much and so many in this pandemic that was really a driving force. I didn't want to I've seen all six before. Let me say that many times, but yeah, I've traveled to see them like all over the place, but I felt like it was important to see them this time because you never know what might happen. You never know. So I wanted to see all six one more time. And man, Jarvis, I was in there doing every routine, every dance, everything. Looking back, like, are they coming back for an encore?
Right.
So wouldn't leave just in case because they've done that before. And yeah, kind of shed some tears because I was like, man, they did it for the culture. Like, they're getting their flowers. I'm loving it. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I was so hyped that I was like, well, I'm good enough. So I got a show to do tomorrow. I'll drive back. So I drove back last night.
Oh, nice. And that coming back in true renegade fashion, like, hey, hit the road and go and get back to Atlanta. And we want to definitely want to thank you all for checking out ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. Guess what, y'all? I'm going to ask. I'm demanding that you like and subscribe and give us a good review. You know what I mean? On all our audio platforms. So because we want every last one of them. I continue to say this. We're on all of the audio platforms. So make sure you go check us out there and follow us on those. And coming up tomorrow, we'll definitely be talking about Kansas and North Carolina. Will Hubert Davis and company be able to pull it off? And I'm sure Tenitra will be wearing her hat if North Carolina wins the championship.
Win or lose, but hopefully win.
So win or lose, hopefully we win. We hope you win and are winning in life. You are partially because you are watching this show. It's the ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We'll see you tomorrow.